Yeah, I just look at the world. Like, besides America, what is the rest of the world doing? And that's what I see is the fact that we are not the only ones dealing with COVID-19.
Nah,
The
hell nah.
rest of the world that has nothing to do with our election is dealing with COVID.
Hey, yo, Mikey!
That's what I'm talking about.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the motherfucking Beard Bros podcast. Hope you're having a great day so far. I mean, like, subscribe, share, you know the drill. Hope you guys are enjoying the rest of our segments as well. We're doing 3 segments a week, podcast on Monday, food review on Wednesday, and fucked up show on Friday. So press the bell for your notifications to know when we upload. Basically, so before we get started, I just want to start off by saying fuck COVID.
Fuck COVID.
COVID's been a bitch for us. We're not gonna get too specific, but just
Yeah.
COVID's been a little bitch. And if you guys haven't heard or whatever, we're just gonna slightly go into. We had COVID. It's been rough on us even up to today.
Fuck COVID.
So, you guys, if you guys don't believe in COVID, that's cool. But I pray you don't get COVID, because if you get COVID, I don't want to hear you bitching, because
That shit
COVID's the
sucks.
real fucking deal.
Yeah, that shit's tough.
That bitch is going to take you to the 12 rounds and knock your
You-
fucking ass
Yeah,
out.
you better hope you're like Canelo or something, cause that shit. Only strong people fucking. Unless you don't get symptoms.
Yeah, you could. Okay, so that's kind of what I was thinking too was, okay, think about it. We had it, and it went around our group pretty fast, okay? But then I've also heard of people getting it, not getting symptoms, and also not giving it to really anybody around them. Do you think if you're asymptomatic and you get it, you're less contagious, whereas if you actually get it, those are the people that should probably... I mean, you should quarantine regardless, but I feel like if you get it and you show symptoms, that's when you should quarantine.
You should just stay by yourself, and just as much contact as you can get to somebody is what you should do. I feel like if you do have symptoms, and they're fucked up symptoms, because there's some fucked up... Because I still have that nasty smell in my nose from not being able to smell.
Really?
That, like, burnt, weird smell. I don't know how to explain it.
Huh.
It just smells like... There's, like, not a smell. It just smells, like, weird.
That's interesting. I didn't lose really taste.
You're lucky. That shit's...
I lost smell.
You don't got that, like, weird burns? Like...
All I have is like a super like intense fatigue at times.
Oh, that shit, yeah, me too.
Like at times it literally hits me out of nowhere to the point of like I'm almost forced to have to go to sleep.
To take a nap, yeah, that's how I am. I have been going back to work. And after work, bro, I feel fatigued and nauseous and shit. I'm like,
Just
what
exhausted.
the fuck, bro? Like, how? It's already been like 17 days. And it's like, it's still fucking me up.
See, but I think that's what they were trying to explain was the first 14 days or whatever, those are the days that you're contagious, but it doesn't mean that after those days you're no longer sick.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still sick even though you're not contagious.
Yeah, that shit's true. COVID does do some weird shit. Like I said, that smell shit, I don't like that. Fucking weird.
See, and I've had people say that like they went and drank or ate something that they really like or whatever, enjoy like consuming, and that they've lost that kind of desiring taste.
Ever since I got COVID, my back's hurting. I got fatigue, all kinds of fucking extra shit after COVID. Like,
Really?
I don't know why my back hurts, bro, but that shit fucking sucks.
Nah, I guess this is just our warning out. Like,
Be
not
cautious.
everybody's gonna get it super hardcore, and I know you guys are like anti-COVID or don't believe in COVID, and I know I've made fun of COVID in the past, but I don't think said like I don't think it's real.
I said I wanted it, and I regret that shit. You
See,
don't
'cause
want that fucking shit, dog.
I thought I was pretty pro wear mask.
Yeah.
Like I always said, like if you are telling me that I even have like 1% chance less likely to get it if I wear a mask,
Yeah.
then I thought wearing a mask was the thing to do, which I still am on that wave.
Yeah. COVID, for the people that don't understand it, it's not like it's like obviously it's not deadly, like super deadly, but this fucking shit fucking feels like you fought Mike Tyson. Like that shit
I guess
sucks.
my biggest take on
That
it
shit
would be more
sucks.
like, okay, you guys, I understand that maybe COVID's been a little overblown or whatever, but I've done my fair share of research. And if we go back to our last real pandemic, which was back in 1919, it was the Spanish flu, influenza. It took 18 months for that to finally kind of plateau where people got back to regular day life and it wasn't as bad as it was before.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to last 18 months, but you got to think of something. What happens when you don't have like those resources to kind of guide you in the right direction? You repeat history.
Yeah.
I think in a sense that that's going to be what kind of happens here is we're going to end up just kind of going down this trail of trying to figure out a vaccine and shit. I think we're going to be in it till sometime like in March, April, May, maybe even June. June would be basically a year and a half, 18 months.
Yeah, just different things. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like for people that don't understand it, like they're like, "Oh, COVID's just not deadly." It's not, but it's like having like fucking pneumonia, sinus infection, a cold, and like this fucking thing on your chest. It just feels like it's stomping you out, and then you have cold sweats and shit. It's like a lot of fucking diseases in one. And it's just fucked up.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty. It's not the best type of feeling, I'll say that much. I guess my thing is people don't believe in it, and they're acting as if this thing isn't real. And I don't know, maybe you're not acting. I haven't talked to everybody individually to get their opinion on it, but based off what I've seen and heard, I'm not going to name no names, but I also feel like some people that are in a position to almost lead are allowing these people to follow in the wrong direction. Yeah. And I just think that that's very irresponsible, I guess, in a sense, because when you have a group of people willing to follow you through thick and thin and you're leading them into like I'm not saying a booby trap, but almost in that kind of notion that if things go wrong, are you going to be the one to step up and say, I'm sorry, I misled you guys? Or are you going to be the person to step back and say, well, you had the freedom of choice to do what you wanted. It's not my responsibility of what may or may not occur after that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like everybody comes to a agreement that no one likes that. What's our governor, MLG? I don't have a problem with her. I mean, obviously, she's done her job to the extent that anybody else could have done. I mean, who's the fuck's prepared for a pandemic? I feel like she's done her best.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Am I pro MLG? I don't know her enough to say yay or nay, but I'll say this. When's the last time that you were put in a position that required you to try to make sure the safety and the health of basically, I think it's like almost 2.2 million people in New Mexico? I'm sorry, but if all your argument is that you don't get to go drink beer later at night, or you don't get to eat food in a restaurant, or because to me it sounds like everything is still going normally. Like, what's abnormal right now?
Just the only thing I hear is, oh, my kid can't go to school, or my athlete's not able to perform his senior year or her senior year. I'm like, is sports really that important?
So I don't think the sports are that important, but would you say that, let's pretend, for instance, school goes back, and they're going to have this protest, I believe, on the 24th. If you guys get kids back, okay, and my biggest thing is, what's the problem here? Either you parents, and I'm not trying to pick on you, but the parents are either too uneducated to teach their kids That's one problem I've heard. The second problem is that I've heard is the kids aren't learning anything because all they're doing is their work and turning it in, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
Okay. But then if you're at home with your kids, wouldn't you think, haven't we had the complaint in the past that we don't learn enough life skills in school? Wouldn't this be an opportunity for life skills?
Yep.
Okay.
Like when you're going to go pay your fucking car or your electric bill or something, take them with you and have them learn the process. I mean, I didn't know how to pay my car payment the first time. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Right.
And to be real honest with you, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I was doing.
But see, then you have that, and then it's like you're talking about having like the socializing distance from everybody, like not having that social communications with friends and other peers at school. Okay, so you got all these issues. We'll exclude sports because unfortunately we'll get to that here later. But these are some of the problems I've seen. Okay, let's just say, for instance, you guys get what you wish. Because we've seen what that happened before. Did we not? Where you guys thought not having these stores open, restaurants open, what ended up happening?
That shit skyrocketed.
It skyrocketed. And if you don't know, I know for a fact, a friend of mine mentioned that his mom, has a friend here in Roswell, and their parents and brother passed away from COVID. Now, do I know the whole extent of the story? Do I know their previous health history? No.
Yeah, I have a homie. His son plays football, and I guess they were working out in the I don't know what facility. I don't know if it was Goddard or Roswell High. One of the kids that were working out with them happened to get COVID, so all those kids are supposed to quarantine. And I've been seeing that group of kids that are supposed to quarantine out and about doing whatever, you know what I mean? But I mean, that it is what it is. I've already got it. The people I know got it. So, I mean, it's just for y'all's sake to make sure that stays out of everybody else.
And that's, I guess, my next argument, I guess, is you guys want schools to be open, okay? Fair enough. I understand having your kids at home, maybe bored, not learning, not being able to socialize. But if you get your kids in school, what then are you going to argue about if someone gets sick and die? And this is my biggest thing, because I know not all the parents in Roswell want their kids back in school, because I'm not saying they're right and you're wrong, or you're wrong and they're right. Nothing like that. But there are parents that don't want their kids in school because they have the fear, and the one thing I think is a parent's job is to protect your kids.
Oh yeah, and there's obviously you don't just die from COVID. You have other ailments and shit. And there's kids in America now. Just it's obesity, and obesity is something that could kill you if you get COVID.
Right.
And I mean, I'm not saying every kid's the healthiest, but it's like there's those kids that we've all went to school with that were fortunate enough to have good food and eat good, and they're kind of bigger.
Right.
And it's kind of scary to send, say, Jimmy to school, and he was a 250-pound kid and happens to get it, and it's like, oh, he'll live. It's 90.
But see, I've also seen the whole, like, oh, well, people die every day. So if a kid gets COVID and dies, I guess we're just gonna count that as a regular day death. Yeah, because kids are supposed to.
Yeah, you just might as well just give them a gun too and just let them shoot to school. Then people just die. Just
right, because people just die all the time.
Just let it happen.
I understand that argument. People die, and we shouldn't fear this COVID. But at the same time, are we gonna allow our kids to be the experimental guinea pigs that we throw in the fire? Because I know that a lot of people that even have jobs right now aren't going and put. Now, if you're gathering because you're out at a birthday party, at a job gathering, you're partying at the bars or whatever, that's on you. That's your risk. But if you're gonna send the kids to school with other kids, like, if we're being honest, that just don't clean after themselves.
Yeah.
At that point, my fear is this. You get what you want. And say the parents that don't want their kids in school, one of their kids dies.
Yeah.
Does the parent then blame those parents that wanted the kids? Do they blame the teachers for not social distancing? Do they blame MLG for allowing our kids to go back to school?
It's to the point where it's like it's gonna be either everybody's homeschooled, basically how it is, or everybody's at school. They're not gonna be like, oh, if you're scared, stay home and here's the laptop kind of thing. They're gonna be like, no, well, 90% of the
Why
kids are
not
going.
give them the option?
But they're not gonna do that because it's just how school works. How things want to be just like basically
one way,
like forms,
Just
straight line. This is what you're doing, and if you don't want to,
but I feel like that'd be. I think that should be up for debate. I think if you want your kids in school, allow them to be in school. If you don't, because again, people are sitting here saying, "Oh, I want my kids in sports." Well, not all kids are in sports.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, did you play any at?
I played 1 year and it was 8th grade year. But other than that, I didn't play sports.
Okay, so see, there's a clear example. I was involved in sports. He wasn't involved in sports. Not every kid is involved in sports. And my other thing is. Okay, parents, you want your kids in sports. What if they say, okay, we can play sports, but parents aren't allowed at the fucking games? Then what? Are you then going to have another protest?
Yeah, what do you like? My thing is, even if they do go to school, this is my argument. I haven't said it out loud, but I'm going to say it here because I don't give a fuck. My argument is you want the kids to learn and go to school, but our state is like 50th in America already. It's like we're not benefiting from them going to school or staying at home and learning. Like it don't really matter to that point. And athlete wise, there's not that many athletes that come out of Roswell. Unfortunately, I'm gonna say it like that. So it doesn't really benefit them to a point. Maybe they get a scholarship to Portales or UNM or something like that. But that's like 1% of Goddard or Roswell High, anyways. So it's like to a point where it's like you should, like we were saying, teach them life lessons instead of book lessons. You know what I mean? It should be teaching them that way.
I get the educational part. It's just, to me, are you really, and obviously this is coming from somebody that doesn't have kids, but you're telling me that a semester, maybe even 2, is that big of a sacrifice that we have to potentially ruin families?
Yeah.
Like someone's family's at risk because we can't sacrifice a couple semesters.
Because I have a homie that he's sick right now and he has a fucked up immune system. And it's like, if he had to go to school during this and he got sick, and then it's like, oh, his family's just supposed to deal with it because everybody dies?
Tell me this. Do kids just speak out verbally all the time on anything?
Not really. Like, most of the time, kids speak about what they hear, basically. Like, if their parents don't like Trump, they're gonna be like, "Oh, fuck Trump."
Yeah, but do you think that someone that's sick is gonna be like, "Hey, I'm sick"?
No, not even people like adults. I don't want to be biased or racist or anything, but a lot of the Mexican guys, they come into my work and you could tell they're not
feeling well, but they know that they have to make the money.
They have to do it. So there's like, I already see it with that. So it's like kids will be like, I'm sick, but I don't feel like to the point where I'm gonna can't do shit.
Can't die, but then they go give it. Let's say a teacher dies.
Oh yeah, that's the fucked up shit. Because there's a lot of old teachers out there. I mean, even teachers that have ailments like obesity. Again, it's a high rate in America, and
that's what I'm saying is there's so many lives in the line of fire and at risk that I'm not saying I'm like trying to do without school forever. I know at some point we have to button up our shirts and go into the fire and fight it.
I think we all should use the I think his name is Darnell Hunter as a perfect example. I don't know the man personally, but he looks like a super healthy guy. And everybody's seen the post that everybody else has seen, the GoFundMe page. Mans is really ill right now off of this shit.
Right.
And he looks like a very healthy young dude. He's like probably close to 40 maybe.
He's he's probably in his 40s.
Yeah, close to like 40, maybe 40-ish. And it's like he looks like a healthy guy, but look at his situation. And we should not have to put, I'm going to say Coach Barol or Coach Lujan or something like that, and
Bolaños,
like somebody like that in that
the security guards.
You shouldn't have to put those people at risk
because it's not just high school. It's gonna be elementary and middle school. So there's teachers across the board. And again, are you gonna just say, "Oh well, everybody dies every day"?
Yeah. So let's just put some of our like leaders that we have in our community at risk. Like a lot of kids look up to those guys coaching wise, and you're just gonna put them at risk because your kid can't play football. Or
Because yeah,
volleyball,
like
or,
I said, do kids just step up and say, "Hey, I'm sick"? Especially an athlete.
I've never said
Like,
I was
is an
sick,
athlete? An athlete can be hurt, broken hand, and still want to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna tell me that if they're feeling a little under the weather, that they're not gonna be like, you know what, I can get through this.
Yeah, because even in the NFL, you look at Le'Veon Bell. He's got to go through like 6 different freaking COVID things just to even get to
Right.
Kansas City. So
But
it's
see,
like,
and that's
it's
my
fucked
thing
up
too.
situation.
Is like I look at that as like kind of one way ish. Is again, NFL making millions of dollars are barely allowing fans.
Barely.
Colleges not really allowing any fans. If you guys are denied not going to the games, I'm not even saying it's going to get to this point, but if your kids are playing sports and they tell you no,
Oh, there's gonna be hell to be raised. I know it. They're gonna be pissed. I don't want to hear. He used to do it. I don't know if he still does it. Carp. He used to be the dude that announces football games and shit. And do you want to fucking hear Carp talk fucking all day? No, no one wants to do that. They want to watch the fucking game. But it's like if you can't do it, you're just gonna bitch maybe until you get your way, like you want it. But it's like putting people at risk, even putting the referees at risk.
but that's what I'm saying. I'm even like I look at New England. They keep having tests, but aren't they? I think they're one of the places that allow fans.
They have a capacity of like
Okay.
25%.
At what point do you say, well, we can't have fans? We're getting too many positive tests. We had to eliminate some type of scenario. Let's eliminate the fans.
They should have not ever let fans in the beginning, to be honest.
I mean, the bubble for basketball never allowed fans.
and even
baseball
until like late in the ALDS or ALCS or whatever the fuck it is, they started letting fans, like Arlington let them in, and they only allowed like 10,000, 20,
Right.
maybe at that most. And it's
I'm
like,
just saying, man.
it's the end of
This
the
is
season.
this is probably my biggest take. I am not a parent. I don't have kids. I don't have nephews or nieces.
Nope.
Nothing like that. But I feel as an adult of my age fears more for people that do have kids in elementary and high school and middle school. I fear more for your child because what I don't want to wake up to is so-and-so died.
Yeah, I don't want my kid to be like, dang, my best friend just died from COVID. Now he's depressed and sad because now he can't text Billy anymore because he's dead.
Right. Or, yeah, that's what I mean.
Or
Is,
my wife's a teacher and she dies, and now I'm a widow because my wife died or something.
exactly. That's a good example is that
Fucked
it's
up.
not just the kids.
No,
It's just
it's not
I
your
get
kids,
it.
but it's like
It's-
mentally your kids too, because like they could know that kid, and it's like, dang, I had a class with him. I didn't speak to him a lot, but now I'm sad because
And that's my biggest thing is I fear for the kids' lives because, again, I don't know these kids. I don't know you parents. I don't know the situation you're completely in. So I get your argument might be you don't understand. Fair enough. One thing I do understand that I am a believer that, and this is not the racial whatever, I just believe lives matter. You know, especially an innocent child. You as the parent are the deciding factor in whether or not your kid goes and gets risk of getting COVID.
I just thought of this. Like, we're losing a lot of kids to gun violence right now, and then you're gonna put another risk on top of that in Roswell just to have sports. It's like, come on, man. We already seen people from 21 under getting shot and gunned down for no reason. Now we're gonna put them in another scenario just to maybe get COVID and maybe die. It's like, man, we're just dancing with the devil right now.
No, and that's 100% right, and that's kind of where I'm at. Is just I don't know at what point that we decide. Or it's not even me. You know, I'm not gonna attend the protest. I have no reason to be there. And for everyone that is attending, I hope at least what I want to see is everybody come to an agreement.
Yeah.
If you don't get your way, what example are you setting for your kids if you go and pout and cry and put it on Facebook that you didn't get your way? Is that what you're teaching your kids?
I don't know. It's like, even this political race is kind of weird. It's like, who cares if somebody votes Biden and who cares if
Okay,
Trump?
so
like, it's just
now that
fucking
you brought
weird.
that up, I'm glad you brought that
It's
up. So
ridiculous.
people are sitting here saying that this is a political
Stand.
like warfare
Yeah.
with the COVID. This last week, Europe has nothing to do with our political election, nothing like that. No input whatsoever. I believe Netherlands, I believe Denmark, Spain, Sweden. I know there was a few more. There was like 7 countries in Europe closed down on another. Well, basically they went into another lockdown. I think in Netherlands, you are not allowed to have more than 3 people in a household.
God damn.
Because of how serious it started spiking in the Europe region.
Yeah.
Also, New York started to spike in the last week. And yes, believe the numbers, don't believe the numbers, I don't care. But when you look at the world as a whole, not just self-centered on America.
Yeah. And it's just not about like you get COVID. I've been told it's a like a long-term ailment now, so like a lot of insurance are going to take people cuz of the lasting effects it could have. Like your lungs could be fucked. Obviously the smell, there's what else was there, like chest problems. I think there was bone marrow problems, some bullshit. Like there's a lot of ailments that come with it. So now people that are diabetic, asthmatic, and now they have COVID, it's like you have to put that on your list to get even approved for insurance now. And like insurances are going to accept a lot of people that have, say, obesity, diabetes, and are asthmatic, plus they got COVID. Now you got 4 things on your list of application. It's like it's already hard to get freaking health insurance as it is. Now you're putting another fucking thing on top of it. It's like
Right.
you gotta realize it's a long-term game in some people's lives now. Now I gotta put asthmatic and COVID-19 on my shit and hope I get good insurance and shit like that. So it's always you're looking ahead and it's like fucked up kind of shit.
It is, and I guess that's my biggest take. Is the thing is everyone thinks that this is an American situation.
Yeah,
It's not. Look at
It's a world
do your
pandemic.
research. Just a little bit. You have a computer in your hand at all the time. I believe so. Most of you guys do. Do some research, read some articles, and don't just believe whatever you see on TV or you
hear
read
from,
on Facebook.
You hear from Trump or whatever, like he might have beat it, but it's like he's still gonna have everlasting effects to it. Cause
Yeah, I just look at the world. Like, besides America, what is the rest of the world doing? And that's what I see is the fact that we are not the only ones dealing with COVID-19.
Nah,
The
hell
rest of the world that has nothing to do with our election is dealing with COVID. So
Yeah.
if they're dealing with COVID, would you not think that that's pretty damn real, serious?
it's crazy.
Like, what is it going to take? I've said this in the past.
Like
I don't
Putin
think
would have to die, like the dude of Russia.
I don't think anyone's gonna die that matters to anybody as long as they don't get it.
That's facts. I think that's true too. Cause
Like until I got it, I'm not saying I completely full blown like ignored it or thought it was funny. Like yeah, I made jokes, but till I got it, that's when I took it serious.
it's fucking crazy. I was probably 20 minutes into probably going to the hospital because I fucking couldn't take it no more. It was fucking me up. And I didn't even get the lung part. Like if I got the lungs, I would have been done. I wouldn't have been able to breathe.
see, and I guess that's just the thing right now is I'm trying my best. I guess not to convince you, but just to maybe open your eyes a little that this isn't just an us thing. This isn't a Michelle Lujan Grisham thing. Like, if I could talk to Michelle Lujan Grisham, this is what I would say. I would say, choose one way or the other.
Don't turn around.
Stick with it.
Don't fucking turn around on it.
And do not look back.
Yeah.
Just remind yourself that no matter the decision that you make, people are going to either like it and hate it or hate it and like it. It's both ways. It don't matter what decision. You're going to have people on both sides. You open up schools, there's some people going to like it, some people aren't. If you don't open up schools, some people aren't going to like it, some people are. It does not matter. Make a decision, live with the decision, and whatever the results end up coming from it, that's what we got to live with.
Yeah, you just got to look at it like, fuck it. I mean, I'd probably congratulate her for doing what she's done because she's kept it low for the most part. But, I mean,
It's spiked in the last
Yeah.
like month. It's just been going up every single day.
And she's keeping herself strong on the part where she's not letting down. Like she's kind of staying on her shit. Like I'm gonna keep this closed. I'll open it for a little bit.
I'm all for her. I'll be honest.
And she's
Not many
nice. She's
people
cool.
will say it. I will say it. I am for her. I think she's doing a fucking hell of a job. And if you don't, that's you. You have your opinion. I have mine. I don't want to die. I don't want my family to die. I don't want friends to die. I don't want anyone ever to die from COVID. And if that means she's got to be the one to make the decisions, well, congratulations to her, because I'm going to be honest, she earned her way into that office.
Yeah, somebody elected her in.
Yeah.
I mean,
For all you people that post, I voted, I can't complain. Well, then someone voted her in. And those people that always vote, I guess, she got in there by you guys.
Yeah, 5 people didn't get her in. Probably 500,000 people got her in. And it's like, what are y'all complaining about? Y'all obviously liked her at a point. Now it's not benefiting you. You don't like her. It's like if Trump did something not to benefit people, that he would get.
But see, that's why people like Trump and don't like Trump. Trump is cold in the sense of he's going to stick by one way or the other.
Yeah,
he's never going to look in the rear view.
Yeah, he's sticking to his guns.
He'll make the decision and move forward. And if you like it, cool. If you don't, cool. He does not care.
He's there to do one job and one job only. He's not here to be liked by everybody. He don't care if you like him. I mean, obviously right now because it's political voting and presidential candidates, but for the most part, once he's in office for the second time, I'm pretty sure he's gonna win it. But if he's in there for the second time, he's not gonna give a fuck what you gotta say. He's there for 4 years and he's not gonna give a fuck. He's gonna stick to his guns, and if he wants to talk to Russia or China, he's gonna fucking talk to Russia and China. He don't give a fuck.
I'm not here to. I don't think, like I've made the statement in the past, I don't think it matters who's president. It matters who's in office in our own state. And like I said, someone voted for Grisham to be there, and he made a good comment. Now that you liked her at one point, but now that she's not doing what you want or what you're benefiting you in any way, now you don't like her and you're throwing her under the bus because you're just that person that has to blame somebody.
You have to. It's those people that always got to blame somebody. It's like.
And that's what my fear is if schools open up and a kid passes away, I don't want that. I would prefer and I'm going to say this as lightly as possible. I'd rather my future adulting decision makers that once I'm a little older, they're going to be my future. I'd rather them be a little less uneducated for 1 year than to have a significant number drop in how many graduate and how many are trying to be remembered at graduation because some parents decided to make a decision for them because they can't make the decision for themselves.
Yep. Well, I was thinking too, like these kids are growing up already in a social media fucking world, and then you're gonna put them in a position not to like, say, Michelle Lujan Grisham, and one of these kids becomes the next governor of. Now they want to please everybody, so they see, say, Joe Blow's like, well, I don't fucking like that my kid's not going to school. Well, now they're scared to close stuff down in another pandemic, and it's like, damn, that's crazy to think. Like, you got to think somebody eventually is going to be our next governor. Obviously, these kids are going to grow up, and one of these kids will want to be a lawyer or a doctor, or other shit, and they're going to have that in the back of their mind when they're doing shit like, damn, am I going to make this decision and no one's going to like it, or should I make the decision and please everybody or the majority? I
mean, like, that's true. That is true, and I guess
that's why I like Michelle, because she don't care who likes it, who don't like it.
And I get it. There's situations where they didn't like her for a reason, like she bought jewelry. I mean, you guys make everything so personal about you.
Why can't I go buy jewelry?
Like, why can't you just
relax?
Be an adult.
Yeah, relax.
Like, unless it truly is affecting you, which I've not seen really. Like, people are on unemployment, people getting jobs, people are still okay. Like, I don't know, man. I put it this way. You want to risk your kids' health, I pray that it's worth it.
Yeah, like, if I could see if you would be mad if she had, like, military, like, people just roaming the streets and, like, making sure people doing the right thing. But she's not doing anything. She's literally saying you can't Blake a lot of burgers closed down because there's positive tests. Fuck it, they're closed down because there's a positive test. Fuck it, man.
Like
Do you want that in your fucking food?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I
Fucking
don't know. Like I
nasty.
said, I don't know at what point that someone's gonna believe this whole COVID until they get it.
Yeah, till it punches you right in the fucking throat, and you're like, "What the fuck?" And once you can't, it's the fact where you can't smell. It's like, that's weird. It's just not normal to not be able to smell, and you're like, this shit did that to me. It's like,
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where we're at right now. Is at the point of, you got to make the decision for your kids because your kids can't make it for themselves. That's what I've learned in the past. So basically, you're gonna decide what's right, and if I hope if they do open schools, I hope it's not the worst thing. I hope it goes as smooth as butter.
I hope so too. I mean, but I've seen it spread in 7 days that I had it, or 14 days, whatever the fuck it was, and it spreads fast. And
I think that's the deadly part is the fact that it's not so much like you may be asymptomatic, but it can spread. And the thing is I felt that feeling where one day I was fine. And the best example that I have is I know most of you would relate to this is when you've had it, you've had drinks and you're sitting at a table, and that first time you get up after drinking so many drinks, everything kind of hits you in one big wave. You're like, oh shit, I'm kind of fucked up. That's exactly how I felt when I first got sick. I was fine. I felt fine. Like, yeah, I was a little coughing here and there. But the moment it hit me, it all just hit me. And I was like, oh shit, I feel dizzy. I feel sick. I feel like my throat hurts. My head was cloudy. My body ached. I got chills. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even get sick. And for me to feel this way, it fucked me up.
It fucks you up physically. Obviously, your whole body fucking gets fucked if you have the symptoms. But it fucks you mentally because you're like, damn, I could literally die from this disease because it's not any kind of flu I've ever had.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I think that's what I would like to put out there is call it what you want. You don't have to call it COVID. You don't have to believe in COVID. All I know is one thing's for sure. Something's out there. It's spreading like wildfire. And I pray that nobody I know gets it and gets really sick because I'm sorry. That shit's real. Believe it or not, believe me, believe whoever you want. I just suggest you believe it because the thing is the more you're cautious about it, less likely you'll get it and the safer you and your family will be.
Yeah, I just like prison. I don't recommend, I don't wish death or prison on people. I don't wish COVID on people. That shit fucking sucked.
And
That shit sucks.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't have kids. I don't have that kind of issue. I don't have to make that type of decision. Like I said, I clap my hands towards Michelle because she has to make those hard-nosed decisions, and she has to live with the results.
Because she probably knows prior to even going to her press conference that people are going to talk shit and hate her, but she's still going to make that decision where it's the right decision.
Tough.
It's no matter what she does, it's going to be wrong to people, but I feel like it's the right decision no matter what she says.
Yeah.
She's our boss, basically. She's our head honcho of the state, and what she says kind of goes pretty much.
Yeah, I agree. And so I'm interested to see what ends up happening with this protest. I'm not too sure how it's going to really take part. Like I said, I hope you guys the very best when it comes to that kind of stuff. I won't be attending. I just, like I said, it's crazy how someone that doesn't have kids and nothing is going to influence me personally. Seems to, I guess, be a little bit more worried and concerned.
I'm a little more freaked out than the parents, I feel like.
Well, because think about it. The parents get to chill at home or they're doing their social distancing at work, and you're going to go put your kids in. You know, how many kids attend Roswell High? Probably like 1,200 kids, 1,000 kids.
Like a couple, at least a few hundred. I don't know. I remember when I went, there was a fuckload of kids.
Yeah, so you got kids walking in and out of hallways, touching the. What are you gonna have? A cleaning crew in the restroom every 5 minutes?
Yeah, you're not gonna allow kids to use the bathroom.
You're not gonna have cafeteria going.
Yeah, you
like
can't
how
do
does that work?
Because you can't put the staff in danger like that.
Or are you telling me you care so little about their safety that you would rather be like, fuck it, let them eat in the cafeteria, let them be as normal as can be
Yeah.
and let the whole thing run its course.
Yeah, they should do it like how prison does. They have like a cart and take it to your fucking pod. If you're in that class and you're about to go to lunch, you stay in that fucking class and they bring you the lunch. You just grab it off the cart. And
Right.
you eat it there.
See, because I even think at the point of, I don't even think they could even allow all the kids to go back to school at one time,
Dude,
right?
1,000 kids?
Like you would have to separate them like they originally were going to do with
Yeah,
one day, and the other day or half a day or
yeah, whatever the fuck they were thinking. You have to, because at that point, you're say I was a teacher. I have now 500 kids rotating in and out through 8 to 3. And that's, in my mind, I'm thinking that's kind of scary because little Jimmy could have fucking COVID. Now I get it. Send it to my wife. She goes to work, gives it to her boss, and it's just a fucking madhouse after that. That's scary.
That's my fear, man, is right now I don't know a solution. I know it sounds to you that probably I'm not all for kids going to school, which is true. I'm not. But I'm in the sense of, why can't we just let the thing play itself out for a little while? Like, I know what you're going to say. Oh, it's been going on for like 8 or 9 months now or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, but has it got better?
Nah, it got
Would you sit
worse.
there and say, it's way better now?
Yeah, this life is great. We're low numbers. We're
But you
good
got to
now.
remember, doctors predicted this. It was going to warm up. Numbers were going to go low. Then once it got cold, what was going to happen?
It fucking got skyrocketed.
It skyrocketed. It's barely even
Everywhere.
getting cold, too. Like, yes,
Yeah.
it's chilly outside. But you can't say that, like, 80 degrees don't feel warm.
Oh, yeah. Mornings at 7 o'clock and there's like 50 degrees. That shit's kind of cold.
It's kind of cold, but then by the middle of the day, it warms
Yeah,
up.
it warms up.
Okay?
You're good.
Wait till it gets cold when we really start getting sick.
Yeah, then you're going to see stores closing because they don't have enough staff to fucking work because say Target, they get fucking 5-6 of them.
I see this being one of those like movies, you know, where like people are just like they got mochos and they look like crap and they're just like walking through the stores and you're just like, you bump into somebody and they're just like, all their nasty shit floats in the air, like whenever you hit like a flower with pollen,
Yeah.
and it just kind of like spreads.
Or you go
It's
like
like-
in like a mount, like a dirt, and you just smack your shoes and then all.
Yeah,
fucking-
yeah, exactly. That's how I feel it's gonna be here because we don't care.
No, and it seems like y'all don't like y'all's kids that much. To be
I
real
mean, in a
honest, 'cause
sense, it's like,
y'all
you
motherfuckers
know
are
what? I don't want you
ridiculous.
home. Go to school.
Yeah.
And if I have to go attend this protest, I don't know.
It
I
seems
guess
like
what
a-
blows my mind is I've seen people, like, I guess, what's the word that I'm using? Like they're pro sports before education.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, obviously it's cool to have kids like Josiah Reese out there playing sports, and you freaking see him. He could go to any college because he's pretty fucking talented. But what about the guys that are just there? What about the guys that are just playing and they're decently good and they don't even have a chance to get a scholarship?
Or they're not even in it to play. Like, they're not even playing.
They're just
They're
there.
just
you know what I
there to
mean?
chill with the homies on the football team.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do in 8th grade, but I couldn't take the hits. But it's like, what about those dudes that are just half?
Or
like,
what about the kids that have a college future
Yeah.
and aren't gonna, like, they're not struggling right now.
Mhm.
They're actually exceeding in school more than if they were in school, and they have a college future.
Yeah.
And the last thing that they fear is being put in that kind of danger of getting sick and potentially dying
Or what if
because
it-
these people that have athletes as children think
Yeah.
that that's more important.
Or if they're going to a D1 college for education, they get COVID. Now they're out for 2 weeks absent, and now college look at it and they're like, well, "What the fuck? This dude's out for 2 weeks, or maybe 3 because he couldn't get better fast." And now they're looking at it like, "What the fuck? This dude's been out for 3 weeks. We can't get him. We can't put him on a scholarship. He can't even come to school anymore.
Right.
Fell off." It's like it's just little things like that you got to think about, like. say it's rare, but it could happen. A kid wants to go to Harvard and he has to fucking sit out for a couple of days, and Harvard's like, no, you got to be there every fucking day to school. Like Harvard's not playing that bullshit.
No,
So it's like,
Harvard's not easy to get
so
into.
it's just like you can't, and online classes kind of benefit kids that are gonna do online classes in college because there's probably fucking
Majority of it's online.
majority of it's online. So it's like,
Nowadays, majority of classes.
so it kind of benefits the kids, even the young kids, because then they're like, oh, I know how to do that. I did it when I was in first grade, and I was doing Zoom, and I had to log in.
Exactly.
Now they're doing I don't know what it's called in EMUR, but it's like same bullshit. This is like the Blackboard or whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
And now they're benefiting a little bit more, not just knowledge wise, but actual technique.
I guess that's the thing is I don't understand the advocation behind sports.
I don't know that neither.
It's like you would think parents were more worried about getting your kids just back in school, but I feel like sports is the priority and then it's education.
Yeah, that's how it always been. In, at least Roswell for me, people like I had homies that didn't even have good grades. But the teachers would pass them because they're
In
athletes.
sports.
Yeah, they're athletes.
And then it doesn't set them up very well for college.
Not for
because
future wise, no.
They still have to go and deal with professors at a university.
And they're not gonna play bullshit.
And they're not the ones to say, hey, you're going to pass because you're on the football
Oh,
team.
you're Ben Gonzalez and you're redshirted for UNM? Oh yeah, you get an A. No, fuck no, they don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck because at the end, that's a
fuck.
degree compared to just a high school diploma.
Yeah, they can't give you a business degree and you don't know shit about the business degree.
Yeah, so
It's like,
I don't
come
know.
on, man.
That's my biggest take is I don't understand why sports have been so important during this protesting of getting your kids back into school. Like, I don't even think being back into school is important because if your kids were able to play sports and not have to go to school, I think there would be no issue with that.
You got to think Cali here, and there was another state, I don't remember the other state, but there was another one that don't have any kids in school. And you got to think, how many really good athletes come from California?
A bunch.
A lot of fucking kids. Do you know how pissed off those parents probably are? I
But
can
see,
see
we
if
don't hear any of that.
I imagine if Texas would be pissed. They're fucking all about football. And I see that, but it's like, why are we mad about it here? It's like, not trying to be fucked up, but I'm going to say, not a lot of these kids are going to make it in sports. You're better off putting them in a book and getting them to become a lawyer making $70,000 to $125,000 a year.
It's not. I don't think it's a shot at the kids. We're not trying to
No.
short shoot their like life dream of playing sports.
But you got to be realistic to a point, because even people that are in D1 colleges, you got to be like, yo, stay your 4 years and make sure you get that
because
degree.
the thing is let's be honest. How many of these parents can afford a university like a Texas A&M,
Not many.
a Texas Tech, or a Texas?
Especially with the oil fields down, not many.
Okay, so you're going to have to settle for in-state college, which is one of these schools that, let's just be honest, predominantly ain't very well
You have
in sports.
You have a low percentage of people that make the NBA or NFL.
Or WNBA
Yeah, or
or
some shit, yeah.
volleyball or soccer
Yeah.
or any of those things. It's not very...
it's
It's
very
not.
rare.
I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying you would think that you would want to set up your own children for a brighter future. At least what you would consider a backup plan.
Yeah.
And
Like-
so...
Like, if Derrick Rose would have stayed his 4 years, got a degree, him breaking his knee, we wouldn't have been so sad. Like, oh, fuck, he fucked his whole leg up. Now he can't really ball, and he's going to get into the money. But imagine he had, like, a doctorate degree, and we're like, oh, fuck it, he's a doctor. He has a doctorate degree. And he's like, he really don't need basketball. Like, there was an NFL player. He was, like, a doctor, and he stopped playing football because he wanted to do medicine. It's like, that's the things you want to see. Yeah, they're athletes, but they have a life after football or after this or after whatever sport they're playing. And it's like, you got to prepare you should. I don't know if parents do it, but they should prepare their kids for college. And like, yo, if it doesn't go your way, and I know you like sports a lot, well, look, you've been studying aerodynamic fucking planes or whatever the fuck, and now you could build a plane or a jet or some shit, and people want that in NASA or something. Imagine, like, if you set them on a plan instead of them going to college and not knowing what the fuck they want to do. It's like, how many kids switch their degree? It's like, I get it, you have a different mindset in college, but it's like, Imagine if you had that road of your parents, like, yo, imagine you could do this and
I
be good at
I guess
sports.
that's my thing is I'm not trying to throw shade. Like, yes, I've seen the Don Trump Moores, and I've seen the Bryant Thomases and the Stephon Dorhams and the Mikey Nelsons and the Anaya brothers, and I'm not trying to undermine what they were able to accomplish, but I even think if those guys were to come out and say, hey, what's more important, trying to pursue this NFL career or basketball career or whatever career or education in some sort, they probably all would point at the education.
99% of
I would say so. Like, I'm not trying to take away from the De La Cerda of the women's UNM basketball team. Or I'm not, like Chantel Riddle, she was like a badass at volleyball. I've seen these athletes, they do it, but how many are there real, like, what are they... If I looked at their history now, Dontre Moore, he's not in the NFL. He's doing something. If you haven't, go back to our podcast, watch Dontre Moore's podcast. You'll hear what he's doing.
He'll probably. Yeah, I think he even says it. Education is probably the most important thing.
Exactly. You go and you look at like Chantel Riddle. She's doing her thing. Like, look at these people that we have examples of and learn from them rather than make. I'm not saying a mistake, but. Come on, man. We have to, like you said, be realistic with ourselves about our future.
And if you have people that are hyping you up, you gotta be the man or the woman and step up and like just say, go for it.
No, finish. My bad.
Like step up and just say like, yo, sports ain't that important. I gotta get a 3.0, 4.0 GPA. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to play for, no offense to Portales, but I don't want to play for Portales. I want to play for Colorado, the fucking Buffalo, Colorado, or you want to play for Texas Tech, or they look at your fucking stuff and they're like, I don't want to give this guy a
See, and
thing.
I wonder if these parents are those parents that felt that prom was so important.
Never went to one.
Playing your senior year is just, let's be honest. Is it fulfilling? Yeah, like, do those things. Like, it's your senior year.
Yeah.
You're no longer a child. All this stuff. Cool. But are those moments the defining moments in that person's life? Was that your defining moment? Was that your highlight of your life?
I was gonna say you can't have your kids peak in high school. I'm sorry, it might be like, oh, Ben's high school prom king. That's cool. But am I gonna tell my fucking 25 years old? What if I tell my girlfriend, I was a high school fucking prom king, man? I'm cool.
Not even that, but a job.
Yeah, like what the fuck am I gonna do with that? That doesn't benefit me any.
No, nothing. And
don't let your kids peak in high school.
No, exactly.
Set them up for their 30s.
I'm not trying to say don't. I'm not saying I don't want to see them like the Freddie and Nayas and them go and play football or do whatever. I'm not saying I don't want to see those things, but I also don't think that their health and their future is worth risking one season. Like, that's not to me at all the same thing as a future.
No, not even close. Yeah, you gotta set your kids up to a point where they're good in their 30s, because their 20s obviously are most college years. High school, you're teen, and then your 30s is when you make probably the most money you could possibly make, because you're fucking flexible. Your kids are pretty much grown, and you're pretty good at that point, unless you're getting kids at that age. But most of the time you benefit from those 30s. So if you hustle your ass off in the 20s, and then those 30s will golden.
Yep.
Your golden years. You're still young.
I don't know.
To do shit.
It's gonna be interesting to see what ends up happening here in the next couple of weeks. I don't know, man. It's already end of October. By the time you even get these kids into school, they're gonna do a month?
Man, imagine the freshmen had to go to school right now, and they don't know the fucking the facility.
They don't. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know. It's not my decision to be made. I'm just voicing again my opinion. Agree or disagree. That's completely up to you. That's fine. I understand. Being an adult, I am willing to be open-minded. Like I said, I'm not a parent, so I don't know the struggles and all this stuff that's going on 100% completely. But one thing I do know is I don't think anybody should ever not be able to decide for themselves what they would and would not like to be doing. And I don't think putting people at risk of getting sick is appropriate.
Yeah, you don't have to agree with this. Like, we're not trying to build a fucking cult or anything, but we're just voicing our opinions, just like
because we've had it.
Yeah, we've experienced
I'm a grown ass man, and I've had it, and I have to say that was probably one of the scariest times I've ever been sick because I wasn't sure how my body was gonna react.
Yeah, there wasn't anything that they could give me to fucking make me feel better. It was like your body has to make
Itself feel better.
Yeah, so it's like, is my body strong enough for this? I
Right.
don't get sick often, so I don't know if my immune system is gonna be able to
Right.
fight this shit off.
That was my biggest thing. And these kids, I don't know, man. I if you want to know, if you want me to just say it, I wouldn't want my kid to be in school right now.
Nah, because you could.
But again, I am smart enough that I could teach my kids.
I was gonna say I think I could figure it out good enough to teach my son.
Well,
my
not even
daughter.
just educational wise, like book wise, but like I said earlier, I would teach him how to like mow the lawn, clean around the house. And I'm not saying doing chores is the way, but other things like take them on a hike, get them fit, take them to go grocery shopping because I know that people don't all know how to do that.
Yeah, you don't have to buy the high end brand. You could buy a lower end and still be good.
You teach them ways.
Yeah,
And
money managing,
how
to
during this type of what
like a lot of kids don't even know how to like set up their own doctor's appointments and shit, and then just show them like, yo, this is how you do. You just get on the phone,
exactly,
and make sure they write it down so they remember. Like fucking simple shit.
There's just ways, and I don't know. I'm not saying it's that easy and straightforward all the time, but I also would say like, hey man,
Teach them how to get a loan or something. You know what I mean? Like even if they don't get accepted, like teach them the ways to get a loan, shit like that. Teach them how to build credit. Cause I built credit in how long has it been for the pandemic? About 8 months.
8 months.
Built enough credit to get a car with no down payment. That's how easy it fucking is. That's how easy it is to get credit to put a down payment, or not even have to put a down payment on a car and get it. That's how easy it is. That you got to teach these young individuals these things.
And that's just the way it goes. Like I said, best of luck to everybody from Michelle Grisham to you parents about wanting your kids in school, and for you parents that don't want your kids in school. I hope somehow, some way, there's a compromise that everyone wins. Do I truly believe that that's going to happen?
Nope.
No. But I hope at the end what I pray for the most is I don't want to see deaths under the age of 18 because somebody decided that it was a good idea to rush them into school.
Yep, health over wealth. And that doesn't mean money most of the time. It just means what benefits you most, basically. So I'd rather have healthy kids than have them not benefit from, all right, just get sick or something that doesn't benefit them enough to go to school.
Yeah. I mean, as it is, I know most of you parents have been seniors. Let's be honest. How many of you senior kids really learned a lot your senior year? Did I learn a lot my senior year? No, it was the other 11 years before that I learned my most education. Mm-hmm. My senior year was cakewalk. Everybody's senior year
you don't even want to be there
exactly.
Senior year.
You're taking the least of credits and getting in and out of school every day. So the argument that they're not learning anything, I could understand for these other kids, but they also have time to make up for that.
Yeah, man. Even if you have to, like, if they're like, this year's just a wash and you have to do another year, fuck it, man. What the fuck? It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't really matter. It's eventually you're going to be back in school. Hopefully. I mean, it could not be that way, but eventually.
It will be. It just might take longer than we think.
Yeah, but it's going to be to a point where shit's just plateaued like the flu. Like, just, you're good. Like, you get a
Rushing
flu.
things. How many of you guys have rushed something and it didn't come out the way you wanted it to?
Yeah, for a
Whether it's cooking,
relationship,
trying to build something, relationships, marriages, work, a job, whatever. You've rushed something, and does it always come out good? Probably not. It probably comes out half-assed.
Yeah, like
if we half-ass this pandemic, what do you think is going to happen?
Oh, that 98% is going to be 75% survival rate, and then you're like, oh fuck, no, this shit's kind of deadly. It's killed more than, yeah. It's like, come on, it's good now because we've plateaued it to an extent, but it's like it could skyrocket.
Yep. I don't know. I know we ranted a lot about COVID today, but I thought this was the time that we needed to do it. Next week, you guys are having your protests. I thought we put this out there for a little bit. If you guys wouldn't mind, please share. Even take a few clips and just put it out there that you guys liked or maybe disagreed. I'm okay with that. I'm not here to be offended by you disagreeing with me or calling me out on my shit. Say whatever you want. That's fine. I know how I feel now. Maybe previously, before having COVID, I acted one way. Well, I know what I feel now, and I know how it is, and that's what I'm going to stand by.
Yeah, I'm not Kevin Durant. You're not getting a response out of me. I don't care.
I'm not going to respond either. I just like to see
I'm a grown-ass man.
activity of people taking something from this, whether good or bad or indifferent, and just using it.
You can say whatever the fuck you want. Just like everybody else has an opinion, I got one too, and it's just like an asshole. Everybody got one, so I don't really give a fuck.
All right, you guys like it? Subscribe, share, press the bell. Until next time with the Beard
Fuck
Bros.
Aaron.
Later.